Greetings, Mega Man fans, and welcome back to the Mega Man 42 LPA. In this episode, we'll be taking on Skyman, who, judging by his mugshot, is an electric robot master, as well as a wind one. This could be a very interesting combination. At the very least, it leads to interesting theme music. Skyman's theme is probably one of the few good robot master themes in this game, or at least vaguely good. Anyway, well, good for this game, rather. Anyway, we have a few razors in the start of this room. Nothing too special, but if you don't already know about them, there they are. Quick introduction to how they behave. And here we have a difficult room to get out of unscathed, but overall a fairly decent room. There's a new enemy type, which are these propeller eggs that will shoot at you, and these giant fans. While you're on them, holding the button will allow you to fly into the air, and then when you let go of it, you fall down at a fairly slow speed. It's actually a fairly interesting gimmick, and allows for remarkable movement precision. Although I do feel as though it doesn't get as much use as it could. Like, really truthfully speaking, with the nature of how the gimmick behaves, you can do a lot with it that this level really doesn't do. And you know what? Worth it. The launch missile is what I would have needed to get that one-up that I skipped back in Artman's section. And... that was interesting. This room puts the propeller eggs in a position where they make a credible, yet a fairly solvable threat overall. I definitely cannot complain about that one. And, okay. Oh, this feels traditional. Dealing with climbing a ladder while enemies are shooting at you from the side. This is definitely a Mega Man game we're playing here. Well, that being said, we all saw how that section can be a little difficult to get out of unscathed. And here we have Cloudy. This is an enemy type that is introduced in a rather dangerous manner. It has two different methods of fire. Either it fires 4 sparks around itself in a plus shape, or it fires the 4 sparks and spins them so that they fire in an X shape instead. They're not too bad if you kill them quickly, but if you aren't cautious, don't be surprised if that first one there just blindsides you. It's perhaps not introduced as well as it could be, but for this one I'm inclined to be a little lenient, since I honestly think I would have had a hard time introducing that one in any way that wasn't like, really dangerous. And this combination of fan and propeller fan and 2 propeller eggs is not as impressive as one of the first ones were. I'm gonna have to admit, this one definitely drops the ball a little on its difficulty curve. But, oh well. And at this point, the stage's entire gimmickry basically changes. These zappy enemies are called sparks. They're pretty much exactly like the Razor enemies, except they're invincible now. And I also apparently cannot jump while standing on a ladder. Not a glitch of the game, just me being a complete derp. Okay, never mind. Hasn't changed up quite yet, but it will soon. I think this is one of the last of the fans in the entire stage. Which, again, is disappointing. And, well, this is definitely an air stage. Look, we have precarious jumping. Anyway, don't be fooled. These spikes, they are not real spikes. They're meteors, disguising themselves as spikes. And they can be rather annoying to deal with if you don't realize they're there. And why the rams? They're apparently called Tangrismirs or something. They're apparently called Tangrismirs or something. I have no idea why they're called what they're called. It's a weird name. To be said, they are fairly straightforward, and that they run straightforward. There's really nothing too impressive about them. Yeah, plastic fake. Okay, this is a slightly interesting section with the sparks and Pop Star. And that was the stage. This stage is okay. Like, it's got some neat gimmicks to it, some fairly interesting concepts, but, you know, it feels like it could have done a lot better with it. Like, that fan gimmick is one that could have worked remarkably well in a situation not unlike your typical spike-covered water stage. You could have actually used the fan along with damage threats to make some actually really interesting platforming scenarios. But this stage doesn't do that. No, the fans are really only ever put beyond mere practice. They're never really used. You were never really given incentive to try and master them. It's disappointing, to say the least. And then, of course, as we saw, the stage just kind of changes gears, more or less, partway through, to the point that instead of dealing with fans, now you're dodging these sparks rolling around on the ground. I feel like this stage could have done so much better with how it uses its gimmicks. The way it uses them isn't... like, okay, it's not... oh, how do I word this? It's not like Madman stage where the gimmicks were used in a way that was just outright, out and out terrible. But it wasn't really good either. It was mediocre. Just there. It's disappointing, really. I feel like the concepts introduced in this stage, such as the cloud enemies or the fans, there are all sorts of things that were introduced in this stage that I feel could have been put to far better use than they actually were. Like, it's disappointing. Anyway, these guys can be a little tricky to deal with, but generally nothing too bad. And as for Skyman himself, he is probably the least disappointing aspect of his entire level. He's definitely a tricky boss, but generally speaking, you know what sort of move he's going to use before he uses it. Generally speaking. Pay attention to where he flies to. That telegraphs his attack. If he flies towards the ground, then he's going to throw that. Then he's going to throw his hammer. Then he's going to throw his hammer like a boomerang. If he flies more in the air, crud, stand in the wrong place to the start of it, why don't I? Okay, if he flies all the way up to the top of the screen like he did, then he's dropping lightning bolts. Which, fortunately, you can totally see where the lightning will strike before it actually strikes. And it's the same pattern every time, so you can memorize it. If he flies, like, between the ground and the ceiling, then he's shooting one of those lightning bolts straight in your direction. He's not a he's not, like, he can be a bit of a tricky boss with his lightning bolt. But otherwise... Ow. Okay. He's proving to be more annoying than I remember him being. Probably because he's spamming the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt, like, not the lightning storm, but just the regular bolts he fires from his hands, are probably his most dangerous ability. Simply because those ones, they can be a little harder to predict. Oh, I say that now, but actually it looks like he just fires them straight towards your location. And that was badly timed, and that was a badly timed jump. So yeah, okay. I'm crazy. So I had a few small issues with it. He's about on the same level of Missile Man in terms of how generally fair he is. Like, generally speaking, you can deal with him. It's just chances are he'll take a while because he likes to get well out of your range. He's a much faster kill with his weakness, as is typical for basically any robot master, really. Okay, almost got him. Yeah, what the? Sometimes his lightning bolts have awkward homing. But that in and of itself is fairly rare. And I got him that time. It's amazing how many times he actually managed to kill me. Then again, I forgot how his lightning bolt worked, so that was probably part of the problem. Fairly good boss fight, though. I can't really complain about him. And his weapon is also pretty good. The weapon you get from him is the Thunder Hammer. It's his boomerang hammer. And while yours may not have as much range as his, but in exchange, when it actually starts to fly back towards you, the Thunder Hammer unleashes a burst of lightning around itself that actually has a significant amount of range. So, it has fairly decent range, and it's fairly powerful. The Thunder Hammer is The Thunder Hammer is a good weapon for sure. I definitely can't complain about it. Anyway. And with that, that's the end of Skyman stage. Disappointing stage? Actually pretty okay boss. I can't complain that much about Skyman. A few hiccups here and there, but as you saw, nothing that you really can't deal with. Anyway. We only have one Robot Master left. So, thank you very much for watching, and in the next episode, we will be taking on Ombudsman. So, until then, goodbye!